Sorry about that. I got cut off in that last video. So back to what I was saying here. So Becky, she is charging a unit rate of $5 per hour, $9 to show up because of the nasty kids. Must be related to, I won't say who in here. But anyway, so we got that information from the equation. So Becky C says Becky charges an initial fee of $5. We know that's not correct. We know the initial value has to be 9. So people who answered D, you got the correct answer. Great job. Next question. Oh, an algebra question. What is the value of x that satisfies the equation? Hint, hint. Treat it like an algebra equation. Solve for x. Pause the video now, please. Okay, like I said, you need to do the rough work. So on your whiteboard, you're going to solve this equation. So what do we do first? Yes, Tyler, you're right. We need to move or subtract 2x from both sides. That means that we would have 2x minus 9 equals 3. That's correct, Matthew. We're going to add 9 to both sides. So 2x equals 9 plus 3 is 12. Final step. You're correct, Keegan. We're going to divide by 2, which means that we have x equals 6 for an answer. So for people that got D, great work. Nice job. All right, on to the next one. All right, so I'll help you out here so you can see it a little clearer. The cost in dollars of getting yearbooks is by this equation. So C equals 1,000 plus 5N. How much would it cost to produce 75 yearbooks? So 75 yearbooks. So you don't even need the answers. I know you can hardly read them. Figure that out. How much is it to buy 75 yearbooks? So if you can pause the video. All right. So the reason I said you don't really need to see the answers is because you should be able to do this without the multiple choice answers. You need to replace N, the number of yearbooks, with 75. So on your calculator, you would punch in 5 times 75, and you get 375. So that's $1,000, 375. So $1,375. So for argument's sake, the answer is D, but as long as you got this answer, multiple choice did not matter because you already had the right answer. All right. Another question, getting into some ratio. Billy has 3 apples and 4 oranges. Which of the following has a ratio of apples to oranges equivalent to Billy's? And pause the video now. Okay, we need to maintain Billy's 3 to 4. So 3 to 4 ratio. So what you can do is you can write out a couple of the ratios if you want. All right, so equivalent ratios. What's another equivalent ratio for 3 to 4? That's correct, Ocean. We have 6 to 8 is a possibility. What about another one? Yep, good one, Josh. We have, you can multiply by 3. You have 9 to 12. So I multiplied this one by 2, multiplied this one by 3, you multiply by 4. So those are equivalent ratios. So that's 12 to 16. So let's take a look at some of the answers. 3 to 8, does that make sense? Will that be an equivalent ratio? Is 3 to 4 equal to 3 to 8? Hey, I see Logan shaking his head. That's good. So that is not an answer. 4 to 3, does flipping it around make it equal? Answer to that is no. 8 to 6, we know we always have to have more oranges. So as soon as you have less oranges, it's not possible. 9 to 12, hey, look at this. That answer is one of the ones that were possible for us. The answer is D. Good job. Nice work. All right, next one, another ratio question. The ratio of the width to height of a TV is 16 to 9. So 16 to 9. If the height of the screen is 52, and remember, here's your hint. It says here the ratio of width to height is 16 to 9. So if the height of the screen is 52, what is the closest width? So you pause the video now. Okay, people, so we want to know what is the closest width. So that means we don't know the width. That's the blank or the variable. So it all depends on your approach. If you're using the ratio method like Alyssa and Ben use, you're going to solve it right there. For many of us, we're going to go back to good old equal fractions because we can solve these every time. It's the exact same every time. So we want to solve for x. So regardless your method, I'm going to work this one out because it is review. So we cross multiply. 9 times x is 9. Get the x by itself. So you're using your algebra skills here again. So again, this is how they test those algebra skills. We get an answer of 16 times 52 and divide that by 9. I get 92.4 repeated. Is there an answer close? Oh my goodness, there is. So if you answered A, you got this question correct. Good job, good job. All right, next. Each year, a school sends 50 students to a conference. This is kind of like a test question that we had. Last year, the cost was $12.50 per student. This year, cost per student has gone up by 16%. What is the total cost to send 50 students to the conference this year? So pause the video. Let's have a second to try this out. Alrighty, we are back. So 16% increase. So there's a couple of ways you can do this, all right? The easiest way, all right, remember, the $12.50 was 100%, all right? So that was the whole cost. Now, if we have an increase of 16%, that means that 100 plus 16, so now the cost is 116%. So this is kind of like a tax question. So that means we are going to take our $12.50, so this is the shortcut, times 1.16, and this is going to give us the new cost or the new fee. So if we do that, I get $14.50 as the new price. All right. The other way to do it, you could have found 16%. All right. So some of you might have done 16 over 100. Over 100 equals x over 12.50. Okay, in that case, you would have got x equals $2. So now it is $14.50. So it's the same thing. So to find your final answer, no matter how you did it, it's costing $14.50 times 50 students. So plugging that in, I now get $725. And there's our answer. All right. So you have multiple ways to do it. Okay. This is the quick way. This works every time. All right. Both methods work. All right. Another ratio question. The design of a rectangular garden has a length to width ratio of 7:5. Which of the following could be used to determine the width of the garden if the length is 6.5. All right, so you're just setting up the ratio. You're setting up the equation. Pause the video now. All right, this one is your bread and butter, people. We talked about if you can set the equation up, you can solve the problem. Well, this time you just have to set the equation up. So it gives us 7 to 5, and I know there's going to be some people here that don't want to do the extra work, but it's length to width. So L to W equals, we know that the L, the length, is 6.5 meters. So L is the first term. All right, so that's got to go first. So 6.5 x. Now we need to set it up as an equation. So 7 over 5 equals 6.5 over x. So that is a possibility. So we check to see if that answer happens to be on the other side here. And when I look at it, it's not. Okay. Now, which one's close? So let's talk about that. So we see that we have 6.5 and 7. That never will happen with ours. And so that one's got to go out. Okay. The other possibility here. okay, is we could flip both fractions. So that's what I would do first. So if this was 5 over 7, this would be x over 6.5. So I've just flipped both fractions to see if the person did it backwards. They might have done it backwards. So now I take a look at that one. Is that answer there? No, of course not, is it? 5 over 7. Okay. So they really did this differently. So they might have done, let's try this. So remember with ratios, as long as you're consistent, they do work out. All right, so this can be frustrating on EQAO, and I'm just working it through with you. Okay, all right, so maybe instead of doing it that way, they crossed over. So maybe they matched up the lengths together and the widths together. So let's try that. So you can do that. It's not the way we usually do it. So that means I'm going to put the 7 over 6.5, which means that I will put the 5 over the x. So let's see if that one's there. So 6.5 and 7 have to go together. And of course, the one I erased is the only one that has it. It's 5 over x. Isn't that just a cracker? So you can see that I made an assumption. It was a bad assumption. All right. This is actually the correct answer. All right. Actually, no. Hold on a second. It is not the correct answer because it's not matching up. All right. So what are we missing out on here? 6.5 over x. That's kind of funny. How many of you are sitting there laughing at me right now? All right. 7 over 5 equals 6.5 over x. This is what happens when I talk by myself or do it alone. Hey, look at this. These are the exact same. All right. Isn't that, yeah. Oh, well. I try. All right, so D was the answer. We had it right the first time. Crazy. All right, what do we got left here? Another ratio question. What is the value of k in this proportion below? What is the value of k in this proportion? So you can pause the video and solve. All right. So this is nothing. You should be able to do this. Everyone in the room, we've done this 100 times. So 9 times 32 equals 24k. Divide by 24. And like I said, everyone should be getting the right answer on this one. So we'd have 9 times 32 divided by 24. Please be one of the answers. The way the video is going, k equals 12. So A is the correct answer. All right. Let's go with the last one. So last week, Tanisha paid $65.72 for 62 kilograms of potatoes. That is a lot of potatoes for the restaurant. The price of potatoes is 0.02 kilograms lower. How much will Tanisha pay for 50 kilograms of potatoes today? So pause the video. Okay, this is a two-step question, so it can be quite tricky. So we need to find out what was the unit rate originally. So we need to do 65.72 over 62 equals x over 1. All right. So you cross multiply and do your process. You should have got that the original unit rate, so 65.72 divided by 62 is $1.06 a kilogram. So $1.06 for every kilogram. Now, the new price is, because it is 2 cents lower, it's now $1.04 a kilogram. So that's our new unit rate. So if she goes and buys 50 kilograms of potatoes at $1.04 a kilo, we end up with, so 1.04 times 50, you should get an answer of $52. So there is your answer right there. Okay, so that's been a good day of working with multiple choice. We're going to continue reviewing our units next week and throwing in a couple more practice questions. Have a great long weekend, and we'll see you on Monday.